Let's talk about
Let's
it.
talk about
this week,
rockets.
NASA sent people around the moon.
Around
Yeah,
the moon.
I don't think I can name all the planets.
Is the moon a planet, Andrew?
It's very specifically worded.
Could be.
There are so many interesting things about this, and I just figured we could just pop through some of the most fascinating ones. First of all, the Artemis II mission is what it's called. These 4 astronauts went, they launched, they slungshot around Earth. They then flew 250,000 miles to the moon, slungshot around the dark side of the moon, and then came back to Earth. And I think by the time you listen to this on Friday, that's when they splashed down in the ocean. So like a week-long mission, and about 45 minutes of that was spent behind the moon, which is the farthest any humans have ever been from Earth.
Pretty
which is
sick.
So cool.
Yeah.
They took some incredible photos from back there.
Yeah.
And they also sent them back to Earth for us to look at before they even got back here. And the photos are incredible.
They're so sick.
And I have so many thoughts. Okay, first thing we started seeing is this is I guess the first mission where the astronauts were allowed to bring personal devices into space, meaning their iPhones and Android phones. And so we did get images from their smartphones as well sent back. And that's awesome. That's really interesting. Probably some of the best moon photos any phone has ever taken because they're super close to it.
Yeah.
We all like to think we can take moon photos from our phone, but
The Earth photo was the one that was
Yeah.
popping off on Twitter.
yeah,
which
so
was very funny. and
they
all
looked
over the
great.
place.
They took photos out the window of their space shuttle, and you could see like Earthrise as they got further and further from Earth. The Earth got smaller and smaller, and then they got closer and closer to the moon, and the moon got bigger and bigger until they like slingshot around the moon. I had to Google this. They went within like 5,000 miles of the moon's surface to do that gravity slingshot. So they were really close. I mean, in the scale, in the scale
of the universe.
In the universe, like, they went 250,000 miles, and then they got within 5,000 miles of the moon. I think that's pretty cool.
Compared to the biggest possible thing we can measure, they were pretty close.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any thoughts on the shot on iPhone photos that we got from Artemis? I thought they were pretty cool.
I have some thoughts.
I thought they might end up as a billboard pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Some people had takes against that. They were like, let it just happen organically.
I'm fine with
and
that.
It's fine if it's never a billboard, but also a
Yeah.
missed opportunity from Samsung because Samsung got
Well, I saw some
'cause
funny
Galaxy,
memes because you know the photos where they took the photo of the moon in the foreground and then Earth was in the background, which is like the opposite of what we usually see.
Yeah.
There was a really funny meme where like the moon was in the foreground and then the background was a moon. It said shot on iPhone. I mean, shot on Samsung.
Samsung, yeah.
I was like,
I saw a bunch of
pretty
those, like, if Samsung took this. I saw people complaining, like, wow, it's a real shame they didn't use a Samsung for this photo with its zoom. And it's like you're in space.
you're literally in front of the moon. Why do you need?
You don't need the zoom. You're in space. This is literally the opposite. Also, it was the iPhone selfie camera, which
There was
is
some
really
from the
cool.
selfie camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I might get canceled for this,
Do it.
but I.
Maybe not. I'm just kidding.
No, I just don't think it's. People are like, wow, it's insane that this is that selfie camera, and I was like, well, yeah, you.
I thought it was cool.
If you took, yeah, it is cool, but it's like, yeah, it's the selfie camera. I mean, you can do photos with the selfie camera. Like, what's so insane about that?
I guess it's like, I think more so is that this photo itself is incredible because it's Earth and we just don't see it. It really has
For
nothing
sure.
to do with the camera.
Yeah, it's just-
Any phone could have basically taken
It's
that
just
photo
the
up there.
perspective. It's not even so much about the phone that's taking it. It's that we have all these, like when you open your phone camera roll and you see the photos you took and that's your perspective from the last couple days and you know what a photo from your phone usually looks like.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to think that their camera roll, they open it up and it's a photo looking down on Earth from 250,000 miles away and like a shot of the moon, which is somehow right next to them. Like that's just such a crazy thing to imagine.
Yeah.
And it kind of, I don't know, humanizes it or like puts it into perspective for us to appreciate that that's really how it looks to them sitting looking out that window.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy stuff.
It'll be funny in like 20 years when they're scrolling really far back in their gallery one day. And
Memories.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
This happened 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Just like
6
the
years
Earth.
ago today.
Yeah, what is the AI going to say? Like it'll
it's like
show you your like
you in
your lunch or your
California.
dog and it'll be like you on the moon. Does it know that they were on the moon? Like what is it going to say?
You know how you can track your location in Google Maps, like going back all the way?
just like-
I wonder what happens.
Yeah, what does their
over
find
this
map
Fog of
say?
World would have went crazy.
Fog
on
of
that
World
trip.
is like, where did you go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you have people's pins on Find My. Where do you think those pins went?
Oh, that's
It's just off the grid, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I do a little camera breakdown of all the cameras they used on this
Yes.
trip? Okay. So a lot of people were confused why they were using the Nikon D5, which is a camera that came out in 2016. And I've been screaming about this for years, and this is actually like finally starting to get better. So the reason they use the Nikon D5 is because it's a very large pixel pitch. That's the size of the pixel on the sensor. If you have a bigger pixel pitch, you get more light per pixel, which means lower noise. And for space photography, that's very important because most of the background is black.
Yeah, not a lot of light.
Yeah. So
Some people were asking, why did they shoot with the Hasselblad? The Hasselblad is 100 megapixels.
100
But each one of those pixels is tiny.
very tiny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 6.4 is very big, and like 10 years ago, it was more common to have a bigger pixel. It's only 20 megapixel camera, which is fine. Like that's still a lot of resolution for like if you want to use as a desktop wallpaper or something like that. It looks very DSLR-y. They did also use a Nikon Z9, which is Nikon's like flagship camera that's out right now. That has a pixel pitch of 4.35 micrometers, so it's a little bit smaller, still very good. 45.7 megapixels. Obviously, they're going to want to be able to zoom in on some of these pictures.
Yeah.
They used a GoPro Hero 4 Black, which I saw some really cool photos of.
They did make that an Instagram post.
Yeah, in the
That's-
Instagram post.
Yep.
That's like 7 or 8 years old at this point.
Yeah.
We're on Hero 11 or 12 or something, I think.
Yeah, I was kind of curious why they did that. It might have been a similar thing with a bigger pixel pitch. I didn't actually look at what that pixel pitch was.
I think what happens is these programs take so many years to build that they're not using typically state of the art. Like when they build this Artemis II thing, they're using the 2019, 2020 cameras when they start building it. So even though there's newer cameras available today, that's the stuff that they started with. When
Seems
this
like that would be
mission
the
started.
easiest thing to just switch out, though.
They're probably similar resolution, but like computers and dimensions and stuff, they just lock that stuff in.
Yeah.
It's the same reason like the software used to record the podcast, the stuff called Wild Tracks, and like we're generally like 6 or 7 versions behind the most recent version because like God forbid, we just can't validate every single aspect. And,
Yeah.
if we use one too many threads and it interacts with the lighting software weird and it crashes and we lose an episode, I'd much rather miss a few features and know it works.
Yeah.
and
Don't test in production.
And that's on a podcast. Like picture it in space.
Yes.
There's no Best Buy in space.
If anything,
Yet.
GoPro really should have done the marketing campaign because they're like
Yeah,
a
that
dying
feels
company.
way more up there.
I don't know if they're allowed yet. I saw someone say
No, I
how
know.
because NASA's like government funded
posted
and
it.
everything. Like,
Yeah.
you would have to reach out to the individual astronaut
Yeah.
and ask them for their permission.
None of
already on
True
their
that is,
Instagram.
but
There was a lot of misinformation online. People were saying, "Oh, Apple probably paid for it." And like, no, there was actually confirmation that none of these companies paid to have their devices.
It's
used.
wild to think that when you just look at like these astronauts are from the US and what the US iPhone market share is, it's really easy to
It's
deduce that
yeah.
they probably have an iPhone.
And also,
that's
by
just
the
their
way,
device.
so everyone's like, "Why Nikon? Why not Canon?" Nikon was the first ever camera in space. And the reason that happened was because one of the astronauts just happened to be a photographer and he bought a Nikon like before he went up into space and he just took some pictures. And that was before Hasselblad. That's before Hasselblad started making their custom Hasselblad cameras for space, which they left some of those cameras on the moon, which they should have just retrieved them because they've been there since 1969 or whatever.
Oh, the
67.
cameras are still on the moon?
Yeah, the cameras are still. They just took the film backs.
Wow.
Because they needed as little weight possible to be able to get back.
Space litter. We should go retrieve those.
Next, we have the iPhone 17 Pro Max for the candid photos of the moon through the window, which I think was very sick.
Those are fun.
They're just very sick. They're very cool.
Yeah.
They had 80 to 400 millimeter lenses for close-up shots of the moon.
Those shots look insane.
Yeah.
I mean, we get the most detail we've ever seen of the moon. I think my favorite shots are the ones that are wide angle through the window of the spacecraft. So
Yeah.
you can see like the window frame and then
Yeah.
you see what they see outside the window frame.
Yeah.
It's like it's hard to picture what it would be like to be on the spacecraft, but those are the shots that help me best understand what they're seeing.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And then overall, there were 28 cameras placed inside and outside the spacecraft, which is very cool. If you go to the NASA website, they've been uploading all of these basically in real time. I mean, with a slight delay at the speed of light. But they're really cool. If you download the original images, you can get all the metadata for it. And these are very good OLED wallpapers. And I don't think that they're going to be OLED, right as you download them. But if you take them into Photoshop and you lower the black point to 0, then they'll become OLED.
They'll look incredible.
So yeah, I'm definitely planning on using one of these as a wallpaper for sure.
My favorite photo that I've linked in the doc, which is the second link there, it's on Flickr, is the eclipse that they saw. So when they flew around to the dark side of the moon, there's a brief moment where the sun was behind the moon and the side of the moon was being lit up by a reflection of the Earth. So they had the rarest solar eclipse of all time. Nobody other than these 4 people have ever seen this perspective of a solar eclipse. And they took a photo of the moon, which is just this ball floating in space in front of them, on a Z9. It's like a 2-second exposure, and it's just the trippiest. I can't believe it's a real photo. It's insane.
Yeah.
And then all of the background, you see all these stars and planets lined up and galaxies in the background behind them. Incredible wallpaper material. One of my favorite photos I've ever seen, for sure.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely
It's
gorgeous.
already the wallpaper on my phone.
The glow in the back.
So good.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
One more thing that a lot of people were curious about, they did live stream a lot of this. I remember watching the launch on NASA's YouTube channel on last Wednesday. There was like 2.8 million concurrent viewers, which is pretty sick. What a lot of people don't know is they kept streaming for a week and showing like the perspective of the astronauts as they got closer to the moon and farther from the Earth. And you might be wondering how they did that because there's no internet in space.
Yeah.
They just were sending information directly back to, I think there's a series of 3 satellites on Earth where at least one of them is always pointing towards the moon, or one of them is always pointing towards a spacecraft no matter where they were in orbit. So they were always able to send data back to Earth. And that's how we have, this little super low res, but effectively live stream of the astronauts. And it's 1 light second away tops. So it's not that much of a delay as they send that information. So pretty cool.
Pretty awesome.
Crazy they could live stream this whole thing, yet Netflix constantly can't get Love is Blind reunion streamed properly on time.
There's more demand for that, Andrew.
For Love is Blind? Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I
So
think they'd get it right.
yeah, if you want to go see those photos, download those pictures, go to the NASA website. We could link that in the show notes to make it easier. Speaking of, I
Making
really
it
don't know how to
easier.
make this transition. Let's
Things
see.
that don't exist.
Things that don't exist. We can joke.
Saying allegedly
can
every
joke.
time you guys have talked about.
We can joke about that.
I don't even want to put it in.
We
I will say-
believe that this is real.
No, stop. Don't put it in. The moon is real.
Come on.
There is a moment, there is a thing happening on social media where there's way more conspiracy theory content.
Yeah, because
I
of
don't even know
engagement
how to
bait.
talk about it. It's just like obviously bait and it's engagement bait, but it's also like there's never been so much of it and it's never been so easy for dumb people to see it and probably just jump right along and believe it.
Or
Weird.
like you said, it's like that and rage bait where people want to feel smart by saying no, you're wrong and stupid, which is engagement and makes that person money.
Yeah. So
The
don't
incentives
engage.
are bad.
Don't engage. See the rage bait, just keep scrolling.
Yeah.
That's how you win.
Dude,
Yeah.
this question, what was the first camera in space?
Yeah, okay,
is so interesting because
Yeah.
it begs the question, what is space? And also,
What is a photo?
What is a camera?
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
this is like bonus episode gold. Right?
Yeah, maybe we should do that. I know that the NASA has been licensing or been using Nikon cameras since like 1971 or something.
71, yeah.
Yeah, I knew that.
There's some interesting
Officially.
There's some interesting stuff in here.
Yeah,
The
there's
original moonrise photo was at Hasselblad, right?
Hasselblad was the first camera that NASA was like, we're going to work with a camera company and make a space camera.
Yeah.
John Glenn went to a drugstore and bought a Minolta that he
Yeah.
had modified by NASA to be able to hit with a spacesuit.
Yeah.
But then in 61, like a few months before that, a cosmonaut brought a 16 millimeter camera, like a Soviet 16 millimeter camera. But then also, it seems like there were submissions with automated TV cameras out. Like
Yeah.
there's some interesting. I think we should dive deeper into this.
Yeah. So Hasselblad made special versions of the Hasselblad 500 series cameras that basically are pump action because the astronauts wear spacesuits. The regular Hasselblad 500 CM has like a small little shutter button that is like very hard to, even with your regular finger, it kind of like pricks your finger a little bit. Not actually like through your finger, but it's like kind of hard to use. Anyway,
Bad design.
They made it a pump action, and then there's only 3 distance settings. There's close, medium, and far. They made a replica series 20 years later. They made a replica series of those cameras that they made 1,000 of. which I own one of them because I'm crazy. And they made these special backs that could fit like way more film than most cameras. But I should have brought that in. Maybe I'll bring it in next week and I can show you guys. It's pretty cool.
Hey, thanks for watching this clip. And now that the astronauts are hopefully back here safe on Earth, I want to know, what phone would you have brought to space to take pictures out the window? There's no wrong answers here.
Nokia 3310 so I could throw it at the moon and blow it up.
Poco F1.
Don't you